What a comeback for Penn State on Saturday. They were down 18 in the second half. They rallied for their first conference win, topping Ohio State 83-80, snapping a 5-game skid. It was their third straight win over the Bucs, just the third time they've won 3 in a row in the history of this series. And the first-year head coach of the Nittany Lions, Mike Rhoades, joining us for our big interview. Coach, really impressive comeback on Saturday. You're down as many as 18, as we said. It was 16 in the under 16 timeout. Can you recall what was said in that huddle? Like, kind of take us inside what the guys were saying to one another and what you were saying to them.
Yeah, pretty basic stuff, Dave. I told our guys, I said, if this is how we're going to play the rest of the way out, it's going to be really hard, and these people aren't going to come back because our effort and our approach wasn't really good enough, and that's why we got down so quick. And I told these guys, you got to figure it out. Just figure it out and just let it all out and play. Go play. And these guys want to win so bad, and they want it. But, there's a process to all this. And I just said, you guys got to let your hair down and go. Just go after them and go play. And to their credit, they stuck together and they kept fighting, and I was really proud of them. They found a way to win the game.
I think what was so impressive to me, Coach, was not only were you down in that moment, right, trailing big in the second half, but you guys were coming off a really disappointing performance. Disappointing because you had every chance in the world to win at Maryland, a game that went into overtime. It was one of those coin flip games, and it just happened to go their way. And as I mentioned, coming out now, that was 5 straight losses at that point. So there was a resilience within the game, but I think there was a bigger picture resilience, too, with your team of coming off that disappointment against the Terps. What does that tell you about this team?
Yeah, without a doubt, they have fight. This group has fight. They're competitive. They just got to continue to understand as a team how to go through it to win. I really believe the Maryland game. I thought before that we had some disappointing losses. I thought the Maryland loss, gave us more of a standard. That's the way we got to play if we have a chance to win in the Big Ten. Even though we didn't win on the road in our first Big Ten game, we went about it the right way. We practiced the right way. Our mindset was in the right place, and we had an opportunity to win on the road at Maryland. And then, not a great start to the Ohio State game, but the guys stuck together. And look, we're a new team. We're a new program. We're up and down. We had 3 tough weeks where we didn't win games and we didn't always approach it the right way. But this past week, starting the Big Ten, we went about it the right way, and Saturday night was a great result because of that.
You said something that struck me when you were talking about what you were saying inside that huddle. You said, hey, these people aren't going to come back if this is how we're going to play. And one thing that really stood out to me on Saturday was, man, you had a great crowd. I mean, they were really behind you guys. They were loud. They were enthusiastic. And again, you're talking about, hey, you had been slumping a little bit coming into this, as you acknowledged. What has been the response here so far from the fan base, particularly with the style of play, which is really fun, up and down the court, taking chances on defense, turning teams over? What have you seen from the fan base?
The fans have been awesome. As many people know, there's Penn State pride. That's what I told our guys after the game. What we saw today, that Saturday night, was there was a level of Penn State pride. I didn't think we played with great pride early in the game and we got down, but we played with it the last 15 minutes, and our fans showed their Penn State pride, and our students showed up. They were loud. They were active. Everyone else got into it. And we have people from all over the Commonwealth drive in to see Penn State basketball play this season, even in a little bit of a slump. And, I'm very appreciative of that. Our players are. We're trying to build something with this cool style, an exciting style. Let's go play in the 80s and have some fun. I think our fans, they really are enjoying that. But you got to play with a level of pride. Our fans and our alumni, that's what they want to see. And they saw that for the last 15 minutes of the game. Now we gotta continue to do that over and over again.
I talked to you a little bit about this at Media Day, and it was speculative, kind of like what it was going to look like. Now that you're in the teeth of it a little bit, give us a sense. 9 transfers here. There are obviously some guys that you had familiarity with who came with you from VCU, and I know that has accelerated the process somewhat, at least with those guys, and the fact that you kept your staff intact. But but you had to kind of cobble this team together. I mean, by necessity. There was no other way to do it because you didn't have a roster. What has that process been like of getting everyone on the same page?
No doubt about it, Dave. It's been hard. It's been difficult as a coach, as a coaching staff. We have really good kids. I think the kids have handled themselves the right way. They're just trying to find their place in the program, on the court, and that takes time. Well, once the season starts, you're trying to fit all that together and win at the same time. And we got off to a pretty good start, but then when we played some really good teams in Florida, and that really exposed us, and especially defensively. Our defense isn't where I want it to be, but it's hard to learn our defense in a few months. We've only been together 7 months, 6.5 months. So it's still a work in process. I keep telling our guys, every week we got to get a little bit better on both ends of the court, and that will give us a chance to win games. We're doing that, not always at the rate as the head coach. I understand that. But I really believe these guys are trying to find their place in the program, and I appreciate that they're trying really hard doing that.
One guy who has clearly found his place in the program is a holdover. I've been blown away by Kanye Clary. Part of it was the team was so good last year, maybe there wasn't an obvious place for him to play. But, man, he chose to stay, and I know you've talked a little bit about kind of how you sold him on staying, on the style of play, which really seems to fit him. He has become one of the stars of this team, Coach. Give us an idea of the development of Clary, and did you have a sense this could happen?
Well, I knew about him in high school. He's from Virginia Beach, so not too far from Richmond, and I knew his high school coach. The one thing about Kanye is two things that help him so much. He has elite speed, especially with the basketball, so he can get wherever he wants. And then he has a chip on his shoulder. He has an edge to him about going after it, going after who's ever guarding him, trying to make plays all the time. And that's how we play. I want our guys to have the green light and not look over their shoulder. And with him and Ace Baldwin on the court together, that's two dynamic guys with the ball. Lots of ball screens for those guys. Those guys get in the lane and create for themselves and for their teammates. It's just harder to guard. But what Kanye has done a great job of opening his mind to us and our style of play and being very coachable. I thought in the last month of our season here, he has taken a huge step in just making the game easier for himself and for his teammates. And he's only getting better and better. To be honest with you, Dave, I think he's just scratching the surface of his ability, and he's going to continue to get a lot better, which is a lot of fun for us.
Well, it's fun to watch, too, no doubt about it. Your style is fun to watch, and we mentioned a little bit, for you, this is a homecoming. You're back in your home state. You're from Mahanoy City, which is coal country, not far from Wilkes-Barre, maybe 40 miles or so from there. What has it been like for you to be back closer to home and in the place where you grew up and fell in love with basketball?
It's been really, really cool. Just reuniting with a lot of people I grew up with and I went to college with, and every game there's faces from the past that I've met through basketball or just growing up in Schuylkill County, and it's been really neat. We have a lot of people are making road trips to the center of the state to see us play. The other night against Ohio State, we had so many people from my home county and from the coal regions, which is just really cool. Lots of people from central Pennsylvania, where I went to school, Lebanon Valley College. A lot of people from down there that followed me in college as a player coming up to games and stuff like that. So it's been really neat. And it's you know how it is when you're around a college team. It's a lot of fun. It keeps you young. But then when you go seeing all your friends or your basketball connections in the state and they're showing up supporting our team, it's been special. It's been a lot of fun for me and my family.
I know your uncle was a basketball coach and your dad was a football coach. How much of your style and how much of your desire to be a coach comes from them?
Oh, everything. My uncle Mickey Holland was my high school basketball coach. He won over 600 games in his career, and we pressed full court. I was his ball boy, his manager, his starting point guard, and every day we pressed and we shot a lot of threes and we flew around, but we were super competitive. It didn't matter who we played. There was a way we were going to play, and I just learned that from him. He was probably the guy that taught me not to be afraid on the court. And as a coach now, just don't be afraid, go play. And my dad was the one that gave me a great foundation of right and wrong, doing things the right way, having a level of class that exceeds others. And he said you can be a gentleman off the court and a fierce competitor on it. He taught me that and showed me that, and I take that everywhere we go. I tell our guys that all the time. It comes from my roots at home with special people in my life like those two guys, for sure.
Neat stuff. As we mentioned, not far from New York City in State College and a few hours from your hometown as well. You get a chance to go to the Garden. Now coming up here on Saturday, you guys are taking on Georgia Tech, a game that'll be here on the Big Ten Network. You have a lot of East Coast guys on your roster. How cool is that, the notion of playing in the world's most famous arena? Yeah,
well, if you would have told me a long time ago a kid from Monterey City, Pennsylvania, from Schuylkill County would be coaching Penn State in Madison Square Garden, I'd tell you you're crazy. And that's what a dream come true for me, but for our players to put on a uniform, put on the Penn State uniform, and be able to play in the Garden and be in that building where so many special athletes and entertainers, everybody knows about the Garden. Right before Christmas, we get to go play a college basketball game there. We're very lucky, and I won't take it for granted at all.
Give us a really quick scouting report on Georgia Tech. New coach Damon Stoudemire. They beat Mississippi State, who's a pretty good team. Gave Duke a heck of a game. They've been up and down. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, Damon's done a great job. I'm glad he's not playing because we all remember how great of a player he was. That's for sure. But he's got some very good players, some talented players. You could tell they're taking his personality and demeanor on the way they play. They're playing with an edge offensively, a lot like us. They're entertaining to watch. They play with great flow and the green light. They have guys that can shoot it. They have big guys that can finish around the rim. And you can see every week, every game, they're getting a little bit better playing together. So we got our hands full for sure. I appreciate Damon wanting to play us in the Garden. It's just a great opportunity for both of us to showcase our programs, first-year programs, but also to get great competition, as we move into the new year and league play. So I think it could benefit both of us no matter what.
Mike Rhoades, head coach of the Nittany Lions. Again, looking forward to that one on Saturday. Congrats on the great win over Ohio State, and thanks for your time, Coach.
You got it. Thanks, Dave.